After the Lantern Festival in 2018 in Jiangsu, Nantong, at Rugao's Fourth People's Hospital, a man in a monk's robe casually wrote his name as the father on a child's birth certificate. No one around him seemed surprised, and some even joked that he was a dad again. This man had once lived a comfortable life in Nantong with a car, a house, and even a villa. But at a young age, he chose to walk away from it all and became a monk. In Asian Buddhist culture, monks take strict vows, one of which is to give up desires for women and live a life of solitude, focusing solely on spiritual growth. It's similar to the vow of celibacy Western monks take, where they commit to staying single and not forming relationships with women, focusing on prayer and meditation. These vows help monks avoid worldly temptations and maintain inner peace. But Dao Lu broke from these traditions. Despite being a monk, he formed strong bonds with women and children, and that made him a controversial figure. His actions went against the rules monks are expected to follow, sparking a lot of debate. After becoming a monk, he worked closely with women and children, and over the years he helped hundreds of babies be born, earning him the nickname Monk Dad. His name is Dao Lu, once mistakenly thought to be a playboy monk. After becoming a monk in 2010, he helped nearly 100 women struggling to give birth. Because of this, he was kicked out of the temple, lost his monk status, and caused a big stir. Why did he choose this path? What's the untold story behind it? Today, we're going to dive into the story of Dao Lu. Welcome to Jeff's channel, where we explore every hidden corner of the world, spreading love wherever we go. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Dao Lu, originally named Wu Bin, was born in 1975 in Rugao, Jiangsu. When he was young, he ran a factory and worked in foreign trade. While most people were earning just a few hundred a month, he was already making over 10,000. After buying a house and car, he even bought some expensive horses and rode them from time to pass the time. But after a while, the lavish lifestyle started to feel empty. Every day felt like a repetitive cycle of working, earning, and spending. He couldn't find any deeper meaning in life. In 1999, Wu Bin's wife got pregnant. Since they were cousins, he worried about the child's health. Before the birth, he went to Fabaoshan Temple to pray, promising that if the child was born healthy, he would become a monk at 50. Luckily, his daughter was born healthy, and his prayer seemed to have worked. However, a few years later, Wu Bin's marriage ended. After the divorce, he tried dating again, but none of it worked out. One day, by chance, he came across the Diamond Sutra, and the words filled him with an unexpected joy. It sparked a desire to change his life, and he began wondering if spiritual practice could give him the purpose he was seeking. In line with his earlier vow, Wu Bin decided to become a monk sooner than planned, letting go of his past attachments and freeing himself from worldly distractions. In 2010, at 35, Wu Bin took care of his responsibilities at home and became a monk at Puguang Temple in Xiamen. He took the name Dao Lu and began his new journey. For the next 2 years, Dao Lu traveled, living the life he had always dreamed of. He still took care of his parents and brother, and his daughter would visit him on holidays. Everything seemed normal, but Dao Lu's inner world was slowly shifting. He noticed that at the temple, 9 out of 10 redemption plaques were for people praying for lost children due to abortion. Many came to the temple to pray for the souls of the children they had lost. Even years later, the parents, especially mothers, still couldn't shake the pain of that loss. In May 2012, Dao Lu returned to his hometown, Nantong, from Puguang Temple in Xiamen. He was working on some community projects at Puxian Temple. One evening, while closing the temple gates, he met a woman who insisted on going up the mountain. She had just gone through a tough time and was determined to do a ritual for herself and her child. Dao Lu was deeply moved because since becoming a monk, he'd met many young mothers looking for help. Most of them were dealing with unexpected life challenges, feeling immense pressure. Some were struggling with family issues, some hadn't planned on being pregnant, and some didn't know how to handle unexpected pregnancies. Some didn't even know they were pregnant until it was too late, missing their chance for other options. Once a pregnancy reaches a certain stage, many choices are no longer possible. These young women face huge emotional and social pressure, feeling they can't handle raising a child, often left feeling helpless and lost. In Buddhism, life is sacred, and every life has a purpose, whether it's easy or comes with challenges. Buddhism encourages caring for and protecting all lives, believing that helping others protect life is a great act of merit. Dao Lu knew it was time to act, so he shared his contact information, offering help to those who wanted to keep their babies. A female follower from Huzhou, Zhejiang, helped him set up a WeChat account called Lotus Without Taste. His public monk name became Changdeng. He quickly became a lifeline for many expectant mothers. At first, Dao Lu just referred these women to a temple in Shandong, but soon the requests started coming in non-stop. He began carrying 2 phones, managing 3 WeChat accounts, and communicating with over 12,000 contacts. Every day, new requests poured in. As the requests grew, Dao Lu started personally taking care of these women, often waiting outside delivery rooms at hospitals. Nurses and security guards began to recognize him. Some mothers even wrote Dao Lu's name as the father on their baby's birth certificate. In the second half of 2013, Dao Lu converted a villa he had prepared for his daughter into a maternity home, calling it Husheng Xiaoju, a safe place for those unexpected new lives. In May 2012, Dao Lu returned to his hometown of Nantong from Xiamen, where he was working on community projects at Puxian Temple. He started facing criticism, with rumors spreading that he had a secret family. Despite his kind actions, he was accused of not keeping the purity expected of a monk. The head monk of Puxian Temple confirmed the rumors were false, but advised Dao Lu to stop his charity work to avoid harming the temple's reputation. In 2014, Dao Lu left the temple, choosing to keep doing what he felt was right. That year, he lost his official religious status, becoming what some called a wild monk. But he felt his actions still aligned with Buddhist teachings, especially when it came to helping mothers in need. Dao Lu took over Wanshan Temple, a rundown temple he turned into a safe space for mothers. The villa he'd planned for his daughter was repurposed into a home for expectant mothers. Dao Lu covered all the living and medical costs for them, with his daughter helping to care for the children. To keep things running, Dao Lu began selling tea, mooncakes, and other goods, while also accepting donations from followers. Every penny was tracked transparently, with clear rules on how funds were spent. After giving birth, mothers could take their babies home, but most chose to leave them at the shelter until they were older. Dao Lu made it clear he was just helping mothers who needed it, and once the children reached adulthood, they could choose their own paths. The shelter was a home for the children, and mothers could take them back at any time. Since becoming a monk in 2010, Dao Lu has helped nearly 400 women. Each of their stories is unique, but after hearing so many, he started to distance himself from those asking for help, never asking too many personal questions. The more he knew, the heavier it felt. At Husheng Xiaoju, everyone follows an unspoken rule, not asking about each other's past. Dao Lu set some ground rules, like making sure every woman gets a health checkup to ensure the babies are healthy and prevent any infections. Some women try to hide their medical history, but once they're in, they must follow the house rules. Privacy is highly protected here. No sharing personal contact details or using home addresses for online orders. All deliveries go through Wanshan Temple first, then get forwarded from there. No one can reveal locations or share any photos of the women or children. To keep the children safe, Dao Lu installed cameras in all common areas, and the doors are always locked. The children can only play in the yard and must report to Dao Lu if they leave. The most important rule is the children all call him Dad, and he treats them like his own. He believes it's important for children to grow up in a family-like environment so they don't feel like they're missing anything compared to others. Dao Lu has his own philosophy about raising the kids, like not letting them become spoiled and making sure volunteers don't get too attached to any one child. As Husheng Xiaoju became more well-known, requests for help came from all over the country, but Dao Lu couldn't help everyone. When he received requests from out of town, he would verify them, then connect with local volunteers for help, while he handled the funding. The real challenges Husheng Xiaoju faces are out of Dao Lu's hands. In March 2017, Nantong TV aired a 3-day segment about Dao Lu's work, bringing Hu Shengxiaoju into the spotlight. Nantong's Public Security Bureau and Religious Affairs Bureau confirmed that Wanshan Temple was not registered as a place for religious activities, and Dao Lu was not officially recognized as a monk. This meant some of his actions were not fully in line with official guidelines. Dao Lu was no longer allowed to stay at Wanshan Temple, and the children couldn't be officially registered. Some children became unregistered, unable to get an official household registration, which meant issues with school enrollment, medical care, and even travel. Dao Lu hoped the local authorities would help resolve this, but it's been a difficult process. The biggest challenge was getting the children into school. Without a household registration, they couldn't get a student ID. A primary school principal once called, interested in helping, and Dao Lu asked if the kids could attend her school instead. A temple in Yiwu later offered to help with the children's education, and the local government there was willing to support the children's school enrollment. Dao Lu reassured himself that the priority was keeping the children alive, and that everything else could be worked out later. Right now, Dao Lu's private efforts are not officially recognized, and his actions fall outside the established guidelines. Some local authorities have shut down similar projects, and some have criticized Dao Lu's methods. But Dao Lu believes he's simply helping women who have no other options, and if he doesn't step in, the children could be abandoned, leading to even worse outcomes. The worst part is, most public hospitals refuse to treat the women Dao Lu helps. So he has to send them to private hospitals. Though he promised not to make his work public, he still arranges for volunteers to handle the paperwork. Thankfully, over the years, Dao Lu has never had any major medical incidents in his care. In 2024, Dao Lu moved to Zhejiang to help children get an education. He brought over 60 kids to live with him. He also promised to continue supporting single mothers and their children. Dao Lu says he does this work for peace of mind because he believes in cause and effect. As long as he believes in it and does things with a clear conscience, that's all that matters. On a deeper level, he feels his work addresses an important need in society. In China, the views on marriage and family are evolving. Urbanization, population movement, the rise of the internet, and the lack of sex education have led to an increase in unplanned pregnancies. But society and families are still adapting to these changes. In an interview with Wailu, Dao Lu shared data from the UK, where a significant percentage of families are single-parent households, and society provides support for them. However, in many parts of China, a child without a father can face social stigma. Many people struggle to face such situations. Dao Lu believes the best solution is for the government to step in, create a platform to connect with orphanages, and protect the privacy of single mothers, helping them have healthy children, even if they don't have the means to raise them. The mother should be able to visit the child once a year, and the program would prioritize families in need of children, especially those who have lost an only child or are war veterans. We can only reluctantly admit that without fully developed policies and laws, even well-intended rescue efforts can only lead to a barely sustainable outcome. How much further can a path like Dao Lu's to help others truly go? Subscribe to my channel, and I'll take you to every corner of the world, spreading love wherever we go.